Late evening, January 21st, we got the good news. Ross Ulbricht is finally pardoned and free. This clip is not about Ross. Instead, we are going to turn our attention to the story of Ledger co-founder Eric Larshevek, who has reportedly been kidnapped. And that is the story we're going to take a look at today. Let's dive into it. That's right. As I just said, we got the good news. Ross is free. Also, at the same time, you know what? I was actually going to do a more lighthearted clip where I just make fun of Ordinals enjoyers. If for the people who didn't see, Ordinals Wallet, the Ordinals Wallet account put out this long thread of cope, right? Essentially, as if you didn't already know, the BSVers and Bcashers are the ones that are behind the Ordinals Wallet, right? Guys like Non-Dual Randy and Coin Sleazy. And of course, right, that product is just complete nonsense and garbage. It doesn't have a real use case. So, of course, it's, that whole entire scene has lost a lot of money. Ordinals Wallet is actually going to be shutting down. And of course, the whole reason is, right, it's Blockstream and it's the terrible Bitcoin ecosystem, and Bitcoin has been hijacked, and that's why we can't make money here, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it's kind of funny because they also explained in that same tweet thread, in that same tweet storm, NFTs died on Ethereum as well. But the difference was that people could then move their money into other tokens, which on Bitcoin they're not able to do. So the whole entire argument is that, well, you see, at least on ETH we could have moved our money into some other shitcoin. But on Bitcoin we can't do that. We're just stuck with this dust, worthless UTXO. If only there was Bitcoiners that were out there to warn you about these stupid scams and not to waste your money on this. The main story we are going to cover today is this Ledger story. I just felt I had to rant. I had to rant about the Ordinals Wallet. I had to make fun of it. Sorry, not sorry. We told you from the beginning that it was just garbage. But yes, the real story, the real pressing thing is what is going on with Eric Larshevek. Shout out to Printer Gober because he posted this on Twitter, and here we go. Alert. At least one of Ledger's founders has reportedly been kidnapped for BTC ransom. Police and GIGN are investigating in Vierzon around Eric Larshevek's estate. Sources close to Ledger tell us that searches are underway, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Eric Larshevek regularly holds conferences and meetings at his estate in Vierzon. Yeah, I definitely would not be holding conferences and meetings at my home, at my estate. So if you're new to this space, or for whatever reason you've been living under a rock and don't pay any attention to what goes on with the signing devices and the different types of issues and the different types of concerns that people have, let's break down a little bit Ledger's history, because Ledger, besides the fact that it's closed source, Ledger has a really checkered past, and unfortunately they have the company has a really bad track record with customers' personal data. So let's dive into it here. The 10,000 foot view is this, right? That Ledger has experienced multiple breaches. They had a data breach in 2020 and in 2023. There was also phishing attempts where essentially attackers were using hacked YouTube accounts and or the breached data from emails. So Ledger, unfortunately, does not have a great reputation amongst Bitcoiners. And again, I mean, this has nothing to do with the fact that he was kidnapped, but fellow Bitcoiner Seed, I think, makes a really important point here. Implications of Ledger's CEO possibly being kidnapped for ransom are pretty profound, given how many customer private keys his company has access to. Can't be evil, right? Won't be evil. So that is a very important point. Ledger has a service called Ledger Live. Your seed is backed up to their cloud service, and of course, it leaves you vulnerable to their service. So what Seed is implying here, right? And for the people who don't know Seed, he is the man, the myth behind seedsigner. So if you want an open source signing device where you can go and purchase all the parts yourself, right? Mitigating mitigating the supply chain attack, definitely check out seedsigner. I'll put a link to that in the show notes for people who want to check it out. But you see, the point that he's making is this, right? Because they have access to this data, if the attackers or the kidnappers can essentially strong arm or force the Ledger co-founder into divulging data on how they can get into those records, right? So this is actually much less about the Ledger co-founder and his own Bitcoin, and much more about the information that he has access to. And of course, this brings up different vectors of attack, right? So now that we're seeing this situation play out, you kind of think back when Bitcoin enthusiasts are talking to you about getting a PO box instead of using your direct home address, right? Because in this particular case, if this is the goal of these attackers to go and pry information from the Ledger co-founder, well, if they have your information, now they have your home address instead of a PO box. So yeah, PO boxes are definitely safer. But I think again, right, this is the point, is that it's not about the Bitcoin that this co-founder has, it's about the information that he has. Now, there are signing device manufacturers, hardware wallet manufacturers. I keep saying those two terms interchangeably so that people just start to realize that they're the exact same thing. Hardware wallet, signing device. Hardware wallet is really just a friendly term to make non-Bitcoiners understand the concept of the wallet. But really, there is no actual Bitcoin stored on that signing device. That signing device is simply what it is. It provides a physical medium for you to be able to sign a transaction. Okay. There's no actual Bitcoin stored on these devices. Anyways, the whole point I'm trying to make is some manufacturers have policies, data retention policies, that are designed to protect their customers as best possible. Like I can give an example, like for Cold Card, they actually sweep and remove all of the shipping data. I don't remember what their retention policy is. I don't know if it's like 60 or 90 days or something like that. But to be perfectly honest, this is one of those scenarios, right, where the CEO or the founder of that company actually cannot be compelled to give any customer data. They literally don't have any customer data. So I think that that's very important. So yeah, like in terms of the signing device manufacturers, I think the best thing they can do is have proper data purge policies in place. And for us as individuals, the best thing that we can do is not using our own home address to have these devices shipped to, right? Opt for a PO box. If you think these stories are going to slow down or they're going to start to go away, I do have, unfortunately, some bad news. These stories will never stop. These situations will only increase. So the reality is that we need to mitigate this from a personal standpoint. We cannot expect that companies are going to do the right thing for us. So we need to take that responsibility and do the right thing for us ourselves. Anyways, guys, stay vigilant out there. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.